My name is Todd Norian, and I'm the founder of Ashaya Yoga. Welcome to Asana Spotlight. So glad you're here. And I'm very excited about today's pose. We're going to look at the pose called Vrksasana, or tree pose. It's one of my favorites. It's also a very common pose. And we'll take a look at the sort of the intricate details of what makes this pose great. And I want to invite everyone to share this experience with your friends, especially for those who might be struggling with balance, those who have tighter hips, and it's just a very uplifting pose, and it helps to build strength. So it's also, really good for developing concentration. So you'll do your part in spreading goodness and light and healing if you share this with your friends. So thank you for doing that. Vrksasana tree pose, like I was saying, is really a good balance pose, and we'll be standing on one leg. And what's great is that the tree is such an amazing image. Generally, we think of trees with roots down in the ground and the branches and everything rising up toward the sky. They also represent the five elements, and we need the earth, the water, the heat of the sun, the air, and of course the sky. All the five elements are there. But in the tantric philosophy, there's an image of the tree where the roots go into the sky and the branches go into the earth. And I thought, wow, why is that? And in Tantra, the idea is that we want to plant our roots in spirit, in this universal, unlimited, unbounded aspect of the sky of consciousness. And that from there, we bring this universal consciousness into embodiment, into manifestation, through our thoughts, through our intention, through our heart, and then through whatever our desire is. That's what we tend to manifest on earth. So we're here, we could say, as the embodiment of the vastness of the sky in the form of everything that we're doing here. And our goal is not so much to transcend, go up and out, but to learn how to embody. I always like to say, how to establish clear boundaries to open up more freedom. That's what's really needed. So that's an interesting concept, how to really plant ourselves in the source of spirit that's always embedded inside of our hearts, but it's concealed. So part of the whole journey, or the path of the heart, is to learn how to reveal the light of the heart and to remember that we're not just limited beings, that we have this unlimited aspect, these divine qualities, like love and kindness and light, and we can produce healing. We can make life a better place ultimately. And of course, we can do the opposite too if our intention is not aligned with the highest. The other thing I like to think about with trees is that they're the perfect companion to human beings. We can't live without them. And it's just like this reciprocal mirrored image of the breath. So we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide to sustain ourselves. The trees do exactly the opposite. In a way, their leaves breathe in carbon dioxide, and in a way, they exhale out oxygen. So there's this reciprocal, continuous circle of a connection through life. And there's so many metaphors because the tree has this very tough outer coating called the bark. It's kind of like the skin of the tree. But the bark is there to protect the sap on the inside. The Sanskrit term for sap is sara, S-A-R-A, which means that which is unchanging. Sap is really the flow of life. And it's so interesting that the trees go through these cycles where they, seeds are planted in the spring. Let's just say that they blossom in the spring and their sap rises out from the roots. And then in the fall, they flourish in the colors as the leaves are dying, as it's transitioning. And then when the weather gets cold, then the sap goes deep down into the core of the tree and also deep down into the roots. And in a certain way, the life cycle of the tree is through the seasons. Well, we don't really have life cycles that go that fast, but metaphorically, we could say that we also go through the seasons of our lives, and we kind of, through one lifetime, we age. We can sometimes lose our leaves, like losing our hair, which I do have that going on. And then, if you believe in reincarnation, then, we die at the end of this life and we come back, in a fresh new body, like in the spring season. But without really having to go to that extreme, that as human beings, we have the capacity to renew ourselves, maybe rebirth ourselves whenever we need to. And it can be also through the different seasons and changes of our life. As we go through different seasons, we can choose to renew ourselves, start again, shift our intention, and adapt to how our body changes over the years and decades that we live, and how our yoga changes as well. So ultimately, we come back to the life force. That life force in us, this Shakti, this component of universal energy, flows through us like the essence of us. It's the sap of us. And when you line yourself up, this sap flows much more fully. And we're going to learn how to establish balance through the process where we hug muscles in towards the bones. That's like the bark of the skin, protects the sap. And when the sap rises and we're in alignment, then our life flourishes. Okay? So you're going to need a chair or a wall to help with balance, and come join me at the top of your mat. I always like to do a few warm-up poses before we dive in, so you can come and stand right at the top of your mat. All right, so come stand, feet hip distance apart, Tadasana, palms in front of your heart. Inhale, rise up and hold. Hug in like bark of the tree. And what's so interesting that when you cut a tree in half, you see the annular rings, and each circle, each ring represents another year. So hug in as though you could hug in circumferentially around the arms, around the torso, the hips, the legs, and hug in toward the center core where the sap flows. This is the Sara. And then breathe, and that starts to move the sap. Take your thighs back, draw your tailbone in, and from your pelvic core, send roots. First, we're going to send them down into the earth so we can stabilize ourselves. And then from the pelvis, extend roots up into the sky. Remember your true nature, which is this universal spirit connection. And then exhale and fold forward. Hug again, muscles to bones, squeeze your legs in toward the middle. And then another one for this pose is try to pull your heels isometrically backwards. That's an interesting idea. Inhale, heart halfway forward. Exhale, bow, step back, downward facing dog pose, and alternately press one heel down and then the other. Focus on your breath, and when you inhale, you take in the oxygen that in general comes from the trees. And then when you exhale, the trees breathe in your exhalation, the carbon dioxide. Bend your knees a lot, lift your sitting bones way up, create a low back curve. Lift your armpits up a bit, melt the upper back, and breathe. Then step by step, walk in. And we're going to go into a squat pose. So if you have knees that are sore, they can't bend that much, you're going to just bring your forearms down onto your thighs. We call this the camper's pose. All right, so you're going to hang out there for a bit. If you can go all the way down, come up onto your toes, heels are up, but keep your feet parallel. And then move the inner edges of your feet back, and then separate your knees out to the sides. Bring your arms to the inside. And of course, if there's any pain in your knees, then you're going to come up like this, or come into camper's pose. So it's like a half squat. Take a couple of breaths. Move the inner thighs back, hollow the groin area, and we get a stretch to the inner thigh. Good. And then exhale, come all the way down. Lie on your back. Cross your right ankle over the left knee, and then Thread your hands around behind the left thigh and pull your leg in. Flex both feet. And then try to generate a low back curve. So move your inner thighs back. Try to get the base of the sacrum on the floor, low back curves. And then pull your left leg in while keeping the curve and press your right knee away from you. Hug in to embrace the sap. It also creates strength. And breathe. You know, when we start to release the tensions, our sap can flow much better. The universal is kind of freed up. So press your right knee away from you more. You'll feel a stretch in your right hip, but that's a good thing. Breathe into it. Exhale, release. And switch. Left ankle on the right knee. Hold the back of the right thigh. Pull in. Flex both feet and spread your toes to get your skin to hug. The bark of the tree protects the tree from all the different elements. And when you hug your skin to muscle, muscle to bone, it will protect your joints and give you a much healthier stretch. Keep a low back curve. Press your left knee away. When you exhale, just offer your carbon dioxide. We compost what we no longer need. And the trees, very gracious beings, they just take it in. They live off of that. How about that? So that the trees become our companions, our mirrors. And exhale. Release. Roll to your right. And come on up. Get yourself a chair, and you can put the chair by your side or you can stand right next to a wall, either way. But you just want something nearby, so in case you lose your balance, you've got this here. So stand in Tadasana, feet parallel, and shift your weight now onto the left foot and just lift the right heel. Try to pick your right foot off the floor. So this is, how we're going to balance. But one of the things that helps concentration and helps balance is called drishti, where you place your gaze. Drishti it means sort of the vision of the eyes. So we want to have the eyes on a non-moving point about 6 to 10 feet in front of you. And I like to look down on the floor, of course, without tipping the head. So your eyes just look down slightly. And you focus on a point. And then shift your weight over to the left, hug muscles to bones. And then there's a couple of variations here. Ultimately, we want to pick the right foot up with the right hand and place it on the inner thigh, where the foot is on the center of the inner thigh, pointing straight down. So you have to line up your heel and your toes on the inner thigh. If your knee doesn't like to bend that much, then not on the knee, but right below the knee is the next modification you could try. Or you can go all the way down if your balance is really an issue, and I call this the bush tree. So you balance on the right toes, but your right heel is on the left ankle. Okay, but we also have a chair, so let's see if you can try to balance. Okay, ready? Bring your foot up as high as it will go. And then begin immediately to hug in. Push your foot to the leg, but also push your leg into the foot. Hug in to protect the sap. Now, bring your thighs back. You can still hold the chair. And when your thighs go back, bring your right knee slightly forward. When the periphery goes forward, you can get the core, which is the hip, to go back and just stick your butt out. This is the knot in the tree. And then keeping your thighs back, pull your tailbone in, and then widen your right knee back so it's directly out to the side of your hip. Okay? Pull your navel in and up, hug into your core. Now let's try to balance. Go to the drishti and bring your palms together. Now press your palms lightly together. From the core of your pelvis, push down into your left foot and Imagine you could grow your roots and spread them out, 20 feet or so all around you. And that increases your balance. Very good. And then from your pelvis, rise up, stretch your arms up overhead. I like to keep the palms together, but the thumbs cross. And armpits go back. And the more you root the tree down, the more you root into the earth, the more you rise into the sky. And imagine your roots going up into the sky. And find the place where earth and sky meet in the heart center. And then exhale, palms to the heart, and release your leg. Rest for a moment. Second side. And you might want to move your chair to the other side. Or turn around at the wall. Okay, shift your weight to the right. Just lift your left heel. Get used to having weight on the right leg. The foot should be absolutely straight, so the front ankle and second toe line should be straight, perpendicular to the edge of your mat. Lift and spread your toes, and then widen the bottom of your foot and bring your toes down for better balance. You can hold the chair and then pick up your left foot, place it either up high or in any of the other two positions that I spoke about on the shin, or keep your foot on the floor, heel at the hip. Okay. Remember the sky energy, that you have this universal essence. That's the sap. And guess what? It flows much better when you breathe. So take some breaths. And then hug in to protect and to honor really the incredible beauty of the tree, and also the necessity and the function that they provide. Hug skin to muscle, muscle to bone, and then turn your thighs in, stick your butt back, and do bring your left knee forward a little bit and get your thigh to go back even more. Keeping that, draw your tailbone down, belly in and up, and then start to squeeze the left knee back so it's in line with the hip. Okay, keeping all that, set your gaze so the drishti goes about 10 feet in front and down to a non-moving point. See if you can balance. Palms together in front of the heart, and now root to rise. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Imagine the root base that goes all underground, all around you, like about 20 feet out in all directions. Lift your heart and see if you can lift your chin just slightly. Take your ears back. All right, here's the advanced variation. Curl the corners of your mouth towards your ears. It's much harder to laugh and balance at the same time. So just crack a little smile. Awesome. Hug in and your energy will flow. And then exhale. Palms to the heart and bring your leg down. Awesome. Shake it out. Okay, you want to try something that's all about balance? Let's do it. So you can have the chair nearby. Go to the other side. This is called the tree windmill. Super great for balance and also for brain coordination. Just to get us going here, let's try it with 2 feet on the floor. So what you do is you bring your arms up in front and then bring your left arm down in a circle and your right arm up in an opposite circle. And then have them meet in the center, like out in front of you, and try that again. So your arms are windmill. They're doing the windmill in two opposite directions. And then shift. So right arm down, left arm up, and just keep that circle going. And you true it up when your arms come out in front. There it is. Okay, so that's the windmill idea. Now let's do that on one leg. Okay, ready? Shift your weight to the right. Shift your weight to the left. We'll switch sides. And hug in. Bend your knee. Place it where you can comfortably. And begin the pressure. Foot to thigh, thigh to foot. Hug, muscle to bone. Hug in. And it's like you hug in with remembrance of the spirit that's flowing, that's embodying in you as you. And then see if you can balance. Drishti, put your gaze on a point 6 to 10 feet in front and down. Root to rise. Then inhale, stretch your arms up and bring your right arm down, left arm back, and see if you can get these circles going. My chair's in the way here. Right arm down, left arm back. You've got to really hug into the middle to free up your brain so you can do this and balance at the same time. Okay, then we'll whistle a song. Kidding. All right, very good. So that's something to practice, you know, and it does, you get better at it in time. So I didn't fall that time, but you never know. Okay, so now shift your weight over to the right, hug in, get your bark to hug into the sap, place your foot, thighs back, tail in. Focus your gaze now. Let's go for increased concentration. Stretch your arms up. Left arm comes down in front, right arm goes down and back. Take it slowly. And see if you can get these arm circles to go. Your gaze is very steady. Concentrate. Let yourself wobble. You don't want to be an old tree, which is rigid, or too young. You get uprooted. Okay. So you want to be stable but flexible. You allow the winds to blow. You allow the sort of modulation without losing your balance as best you can. All right, very good. Palms in front. Exhale, release. Come fold in Uttanasana, just to balance the hips. Lift your armpits, melt your heart and bow. One last time, hug your legs in toward the middle to honor the essence of you. Good. Root down through your feet. Sweep your arms out to the side and inhale. Come all the way up. Exhale, arms down, palms in front. Close your eyes for a moment and feel your connection between earth and sky. Imagine your feet in the earth, top of the head in the sky, and you bring sky and earth together in your heart. May we sink our roots deep into the essence, the sap, the sara of who we are, and remember that throughout this day. And also, if you go outside, when you go outside today, just look at a tree. Honor the tree. Maybe take 1 minute and just breathe symbiotically with the tree. As you exhale, imagine the tree pulls your carbon dioxide into themselves. It eats the carbon dioxide. You nourish the tree. And then when you inhale, the tree nourishes you with oxygen, which we absolutely must have to survive. And in this connection with nature, establish a kind of oneness. And find a deeper purpose inside to share this presence, this space of just being. And let's send light out into the world as we join our hearts with the sound of Om. Imagine a whole valley of trees, a whole forest of trees chanting with you. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Share this video with your friends. Spread the light. See you next time.